What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Game Week 12 podcast, episode number 125. I'm joined by my co-host Rush, who we're actually started a bit more early than usual. So for those of you who are watching this back, do leave a like and subscribe if you're new as well. How you been, Rush?
Yeah, been good. Been good. Enjoying the break. Finally needed an international break after a long time. So, yeah, looking forward to the upcoming game week.
Fair enough. Yeah, this is the final international break before, I don't know, it's like Feb, March or something. And we're gonna have a busy Christmas schedule, obviously coming up with midweek Premier League games as well, midweek game weeks as well. And obviously, that one of the things that has happened in this international break has been a certain Gabriel's injury. So we're gonna have to kind of talk about that slightly because we still don't know how serious the injury is. But we'll obviously talk about different options that you can get for replacements as well if you don't have. And we'll also look at the upcoming Game Week 12 fixtures. Now, for those of you who haven't checked, last week we did a podcast. I got a guest on, Chazza Roberts, and we went through like every team and just did a review on every team so far. So do go check that out as well. That's already available on the channel. All right, so this is the latest fixture ticker as things stand. This was given to us by Pete, FPL Side Podcast. So from Game Week 12 to Game Week 20, it also includes the games like the middle of where you have like the European competitions and who they're playing. And also where we get the 5 free bonus transfers in Game Week 16. So which means you have to make sure you spend all your transfers come Game Week 15. Otherwise, you're not going to get 5. You get whatever is left, like so that it gets capped to 5, basically. So that is obviously something that's coming as well. So thoughts, Rush. There are obviously one.
Is that before game 16 or after game 16?
Before Game Week 16, I believe. Let me.
At the end of game 15, we'll get given 5 transfers. Or we'll get topped up.
Yes, yes. Let me quickly check on that. Oh yeah, following the Game Week 15 deadline and ahead of Game Week 16. Yep. So as soon as Game Week 15 is done, you get your 5 free transfers.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting next 4 game weeks in terms of chips. Like, I still have my wildcard and bench boost. Yeah, definitely we'll be looking to capitalize on that sooner rather than later.
Yep.
Probably even, the game week 12, game week 13 is probably a good time to start thinking about that. Yeah, it's probably going to be like a short-term focus as opposed to a long-term one. Try to capitalize on the good fixtures.
Yep. Because you have to play your game. You said wildcard and bench boost. You used your free hit. That means.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. I still have everything. Jesus. I still have my free hit too.
I'm looking at your. Yeah. So you used only your triple captaincy chip.
Yeah.
Which means you have your free hit as well. So now in last week's video, we did talk about like some chip windows. And I'll just go through quickly again for everyone who's watching now as well. But basically, I was supposed to do a video on that and I just forgot. I need to do that this week. Basically, the wildcard windows, obviously this week because of the international break, people will be playing. Your other option is after Game Week 12 and then heading into like that Game Week 13 stretch. There's like, because Liverpool obviously would have just started their new fixtures. United's fixtures are still pretty decent. You just don't have to worry about City versus Newcastle, and then you can load up on a few more City players if you really wanted to, stuff like that. The other option I think we were discussing for a wildcard was you play it in like Game Week 17 or something, or Game Week, Game Week 17. So you get the 5 free transfers. You can use that as a mini wildcard, or you can save those 5 free transfers because now you can carry over transfers as well, right? From a wildcard. So you just let it roll over like for the weeks after by playing your wildcard chip, like just after the AFCON.
Yeah.
That's one option. Free hit, one of the weeks, Game Week 13. I think Game Week 13 will be a very popular chip week. Free hit being one of that because you have City playing Leeds, Liverpool playing West Ham, Brentford playing Burnley, Villa playing Wolves, and Arsenal play Chelsea. And a lot of us have Arsenal and Chelsea assets as well already. So you kind of want to get rid of that as well without having both of them. So that was one specific week for free hit. And the reason I say it was a heavy chip week is because I think I have a triple captaincy, and a lot of us will be looking at Haaland against Leeds as a triple captaincy option as well. Another free hit week, when we were discussing this on the deadline stream with the chat, was 15, where Newcastle play Burnley, United play Wolves, City play Sunderland, Liverpool play Leeds. Another more appealing game week as well, if you really wanted to play a bench boost on that week as well. And Arsenal play Aston Villa, which may or may not be a good fixture for Arsenal. We don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good to consider as well. Yeah, I just got to think about those and plan ahead, really. But yeah, I think those 5 transfers coming in 16 January will be a huge boost. And I think, in terms of the players that are not going to be there as well, I'm sure closer to AFCON we'll know exactly who's going to be there.
Yep. And bench boost, you just play based on your team, to be honest. It's very hard to tell when it's going to be good week.
And I feel like FPL's kind of forcing us to do these chips now, right? I don't know. Like, I feel like having it so scarce, we had to think about it really carefully. Now it's kind of like, well, just use it or lose it,
Yeah, exactly. And like, there's a question from Tigers. Do you have to play all your chips by game week 19? You basically have to, because otherwise you get a new fresh set of chips. So if you don't play it, you'll basically discard it effectively. And you don't want to do that. You just play it. Even if you were to get like an extra 6 points, 7 points, just play it. To be honest.
It's probably a case for, like, you say you haven't played your wild card closer to 18, 19, and if you're pretty happy with your team and you don't need any transfers whatsoever,
then you end up just discarding it. Or you could even use it to like freshen up your bench if you're happy with the starting 11. Basically. Yeah, fair enough. You could. That is usually a chip. That's a very powerful chip, and at the same time, if your team is still good, why break it? To be honest.
Exactly. That's probably why I've been kind of prolonging it as well. Like my team, I've been kind of getting away with like 1 or 2 transfers every week, and the team hasn't really warranted for a
change.
Major, surgery just yet. But maybe this Gabriel injury might.
Yeah, that's what. And that's also why I said like the AFCON, those 5 free transfers, because a lot of us have some AFCON players in teams. Like I still have Endai, who's going for AFCON. I have Brian Mbeumo as well, who's also going for AFCON. Thankfully, Semenyo is not going for AFCON, so I don't have to worry about that because Ghana didn't qualify for AFCON. So, yeah, but like there are other players who would have AFCON players as well, and they'll be going. So, you could use that as like a wildcard window as well. But yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, so those are the fixtures, but let's get straight into Game Week 12, and we'll talk Gabriel injury as well. Now, this is Game Week 12's early projected goals and clean sheets that I took from BOUvWHU Analytics. These numbers are definitely bound to change. Oops, what happened? Why is 41 highlighted? I don't know. Okay, anyways, these numbers are bound to change for sure. But as things stand, Arsenal still are the highest defensive odds for clean sheets, which, to be honest, is fair, I guess. Chelsea and Liverpool up there as well. Liverpool, I'm a bit more questioning on their potential of a clean sheet and all. In terms of attack, Arsenal up there, Liverpool still up there, and Bournemouth against West Ham, one of the higher predicted ones as well. So when we get to captains, it'll be very interesting whether we keep the faith with Haaland or not. That will be an interesting conversation as well for this week. Early thoughts on just looking at these numbers?
Well, I think we'll come when we go through each game. We'll run through it, but yeah, I think the North London derby might be something different to consider. I just feel like it's always an exciting game, and especially with Gabriel being out, I don't see that being as one-sided as it looks like with an improved Spurs team. So, but yeah, look, it'll be a good game, and we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll start with the North London derby then, because Arsenal here projected 2.23 with a 49% clean sheet. Now, obviously, before Gabriel's injury, you could have said that the clean sheet looks pretty tight because Spurs haven't really been free-flowing in terms of attack. Even in the game against United, I think once Casemiro came off...
It's too soon.
But we kind of allowed them back into the game, I would say. So I don't think they're that like fluent attacking wise still. Now I should say we still don't know if Gabriel is definitely out. This is still just based off him coming off for Brazil during the international break. That's why we're kind of speculating that he might, because it was like a groin injury. So that might, if it's a serious one, it'll take a couple of weeks to recover from. But we kind of have to think about it because Arteta is never going to tell us anything. at least nothing useful. So yeah,
I think Spurs. I know we probably choked, and those last 2 goals at the end should not have happened. But generally, I think Spurs still had the higher possession rate. More shots on target. Generally, their stats were better than United on paper, even though on the eye test probably not. So I think putting that together with it'll be an interesting one. I think Arsenal still are the favourites, but you just never know with these North London derbies where they're playing for a lot of pride, and it's brings out the best in some of the players.
Yeah, true, fair enough. To be honest, I won't be surprised if Spurs do get a goal in this game. Well, like in terms of obviously Arsenal attack, people do have Saka and all. That's fine. Some have Declan Rice as well. I actually don't mind Declan Rice. I was thinking about him as a third Arsenal option, to be honest, because I couldn't get to Timber. But now with the Gabriel injury, if you had to pick a replacement, would you go for another Arsenal defender? Like, let's say if you didn't have Timber, would you go Timber? Or if you had Timber as well, would you sell Gabriel for like a Saliba or even potentially a Mascarella who will play instead? I don't know who's going to come in for Gabriel.
Good question. I think it depends on the seriousness of Gabriel's injury.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably, if it's going to be an Arsenal player you're bringing in, I think I'll be leaning towards Timber. However, I wouldn't be rushing it for this week. I just feel like it'd be a good game week to wait and watch. If Gabriel is out for this game week against Spurs, am I bringing for Arsenal defender straight away for my one transfer? I probably would stay away for this week. That's my personal opinion. But I think since I have all these chips in play, and I know if Gabriel's going to be out for next 4 or 5 game weeks, and it's a case for me to transfer him out, then I'll definitely consider another Arsenal player.
Yeah, fair enough. Because the other thing as well is obviously I mentioned about game week 13 being a chip week potentially, where triple captaincy and free hit as well. So like people who make the transfer this week, you don't have to worry about game week 13 because if you're playing a free hit on that week, you doesn't matter anyways. So you're thinking like game week 12 and game week 14. So even if you wait and you play a free hit in 13, you're still okay. Like by then you probably have a bit more info as well.
I think he's also got a value locked up as well, depending on when you bought him. What's he now? He's 6.6 now. I'm sure a lot of people would have got him at the 6.2, 6.4 mark. So how do you sort of then bring him back in if you transfer him out as well is another question. So I guess again with Gabriel, it'll just be a wait and watch. Ideally, you'd want to play him if he's not injured, but if he's injured, it's about assessing how long he's going to be out for before making that call.
Yeah, fair.
Replacement. If he's out for a longer time, I'll be more inclined to bring an Arsenal defender in. But if it's for a short time, I think I want Gabriel back.
Yeah. The one thing as well to mention that now that we're getting into the Christmas period is the midweek fixtures, because so game week 12 this week and then 13 the week after, but then 14 is a midweek. So you could, if he's out for even 2 weeks, and if 2 weeks includes 2 weeks could be even up to game week 15 potentially.
Right.
Yeah. So you can't split. Yeah. Potentially, I don't know. You could 2 to 3 weeks could be significant depending on when they announce the 2 weeks.
It'll be massive, right?
Yeah.
And
then then you probably change most likely. Now,
exactly.
Then the teams that stand out, or at least people who are looking at, one is Liverpool, and people are looking at Van Dijk because they have Forest, West Ham, Sunderland, and Leeds.
Yep.
If let's say if he's out from let's say Friday, they announce he's out for 2 weeks, then he'll go up to game 15, and that's a good run of fixtures for Liverpool. Now, Liverpool's defense, on the other hand, hasn't been necessarily that great this season. So, is it still worth going for a Van Dijk, or would it rather be better that you just still go and pick an Arsenal defender? However, keeping in mind that Arsenal obviously have Spurs, Chelsea, Brentford, and Aston Villa in that run. So it's not the easiest.
And it's not the easiest of fixtures, right? Arsenal's run, but it's and that's where I think Gabriel just elevates the team, and also he's an aerial threat. So it's not just the clean sheets that we're expecting from Gabriel. He's pretty much one of the best attackers in that position as well, right? So when it comes to just those 4 games, and if I look at Arsenal versus Liverpool, I'm leaning towards Liverpool purely because of the fixture run. And I know the state of the defense hasn't been the best, but if we're sitting now and you're telling me, do I want a Saliba or do I want a Van Dijk for the next 4 games? I'm going Van Dijk for those 4 games, right? Just purely based on the fixture run. Like, it's not the ideal one with Brentford, Villa, also sort of, on the scores. And with Saliba, you're not getting much compared to Gabriel.
Yeah.
And with Timber as well, like, it all depends how his injury falls into place and how they play him. Whether he's playing more deep or defensive back, and then do they change the formation up? Do they bring in Ben White in? So yeah, we just don't know how Arsenal will line up in that back 3 or back 4 with Gabriel's injury.
Would you go? Would like any other teams like interest you? Because now obviously Palace not too bad. The fixtures are. Wolves, United, Burnley, Fulham. Like, could a Munoz be an option? Especially like for those who are free hitting in 13, they don't have to worry about that United fixture.
Yeah, I think if you're free hitting in 13, Palace players are got to be number 1, right? Like, if you just look at the next 4 out of the 5 games, where if you have the option of free hitting Palace players out. Oh, sorry, what am I saying? I'm talking about Chelsea.
I mean Chelsea as well. So I was going to ask the same thing, right? Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
If you're avoiding
Chelsea's Chelsea's the one. So yeah, I think Chelsea's again one player. I think if you look at the next 4 or 5, even up until the Everton game, that's pretty good, apart from the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
I think at Chelsea, I've got Sanchez in my team, and
that's fine. Yeah.
I probably won't get rid of him. There was probably some weeks where I was wondering if I should just transfer him for Raya, but I think now I'm happy keeping him for the next few runs. But yeah, Chelsea is probably a good option. Even Palace, I know we touched on it. Yeah, they're playing Wolves, who's playing like dirt. It's so bad. And then United could be an interesting game, but then they got Burnley and Fulham after.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the thing. There are options. The only thing with Chelsea, I'll add is Sanchez, you're fine. If you're picking a defender, rotation could hit some of the defenders.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, because we saw Reece James getting benched.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Yeah. Because they rotate around with Gusto and James quite a bit, don't they?
Yeah. So that is one thing that you kind of have to keep an eye out for. But like, yeah, there are some other options. Again, depends on how you're playing your chips as well. And like what fixtures you're targeting. City defense is another thing that obviously this week against Newcastle, not great. But after that, you have Leeds, Fulham, Sunderland, not too bad for the 3 fixtures. Obviously, Nico O'Reilly has been playing well. And he's also pretty cheap, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
5 million, yeah.
Yeah. So he's also another option if anyone wants to go down that route. Because a lot of us have only Haaland as a City player. And that's mainly down to the fact that we just don't know who else to pick, because we can't really know anyone's, like, the remaining attack and their minutes are so questionable that we don't know who to go for.
Yeah. And I don't think that, like you said, there's no rush to bring the City players this week. But if you have other defenders who are starting, it's probably a bring in this week, potentially bench that City defender this week to then start them the next 2 game weeks, right? Depends on the severity of Gabriel's injury again, but that's the case where I would lean into.
Yep, fair enough. All right, so that's the Arsenal side of it. Spurs, do we really want any Spurs players, or just like fixtures are not great?
Nah. I don't think there's anyone really screaming to be on my team. I think I got rid of Kudus a week or 2 ago, and I haven't been happier. Just having Kudus in my team was good. It's like a roller coaster of emotions, where one game week he'll give you something, you hit the crossbar, and then just collecting his like participation points for the other few games.
Yeah, fair enough.
But bit of a mess. Too many injuries, and just fantasy-wise, not really appealing. I mean, Van der Ven was in my team, and I benched him when he got the 23 points, and I got rid of him. But no, especially not now for the next couple of fixture runs as well, where they got Arsenal, Newcastle, Brentford in the next 3. So,
all right, let's talk about Burnley versus Chelsea. Chelsea obviously up here. Joe Pedro has been trolling everyone after they sold him. I'm still probably not going to go and buy him. Yeah, same. I sold him, and then he meets Spurs, who give him his form back, and then I probably still wouldn't buy him. But obviously this week is good. Before they play, who did they play again next week? They play Brentford. Sorry, they play Arsenal in 13, which is a tough fixture. But before that, they play Barcelona as well, which is why I was mentioning last week, like, I won't be surprised if there's rotation in this Burnley game because it's Barcelona and Arsenal, 2 tough fixtures to play. And Maresca has shown to rotate against some of the easy opponents if he thinks he can get away with it.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well, and that's why I've been holding on to BOUvWHU since game week 1.
Oh.
But everyone's buying him now because he's a cheap forward. But I've had him and lost value on him, so I can't get rid of him.
You might as well play him now. He came off last week and almost scored, to be honest, but he was a bit unlucky.
Yeah, that doesn't translate to FPL points,
no,
does it? But interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Pedro's like started every single game. Like he hasn't come off the bench for any of the Premier League games. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Whether he starts and this comes out at 45 minutes, or like there's minute restriction. Because I think that's what Maresca does. I feel like he just he doesn't play the full 90 minutes. But we'll see how they tackle this game. And they're so injury depleted as well, right? I think they got Palmer's out. I think Enzo and Neto are also questionable. So they have to play Pedro. Like they have no other attackers.
I mean, Liam Delap is there, but he'll play the number 9, while Pedro plays like a 10 style player. Yeah.
Garnacho is fit.
Yeah, fair enough. The only thing with Chelsea is like you can't really trust the rest of the attackers for minutes and all, which is why the defense appeals a bit more, because like obviously Sanchez is good. Chalaba is cheap as well for Chelsea option. I probably should have gone him last week, and I went and got Guehi, and Guehi was a no-show, sadly.
And Chalaba's minutes are guaranteed, right? Like
it's way more stable than most others. Yeah, that's the thing.
Probably the safest Chelsea option in terms of defenders, apart from Sanchez.
Yeah, probably.
But probably not the most appealing for fantasy purpose, apart from just the pure minutes.
Yeah.
Like there's no other upside.
That's the thing. You're like it's a 6-pointer probably at best.
Yeah.
Which to be honest, recently I haven't been getting that many clean sheets, so I probably might take that even. To be fair.
Yeah, and you never know. He might have a couple of defensive contributions that kind of come through. So yeah, you never know. You just need a couple of good games.
Yeah. Burnley, nothing really to add, to be honest.
No.
Yeah. All right. Bournemouth versus West Ham.
Hopefully, you want to talk about the missed penalty, or is it too soon?
Have you had a game week? I think this was the first time I've had a game week where I had 2 players take penalties and both of them miss it. I can't remember another week I've had where like I've had 2 players in the same team. I mean, I hope he still keeps penalties though, and not Clivert goes and takes them again. But I thought Bournemouth didn't play well, and I thought Aston Villa played well in that game.
Yeah, I think Aston Villa's kind of improving now, which is why I said this when we talked about that initial fixture run where Villa is probably also a team to target at some point. And we'll get to that when we get to that. But it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, nothing else to say about it. Obviously with the fixtures now for Bournemouth are turning. Obviously they've got a good run of fixtures. I've held on to Senesi and Petrovic and not got my returns, and I'm hoping that this will be the time I eventually get my returns, because West Ham, Sunderland, Everton, 3 fixtures at least that I'm hoping for. Like, please give me something.
Yeah, Senesi has been one of those other guys, right? It's kind of like borderline trolling.
Yeah,
like he's got him in. Like he's been chipping away with the defensive contributions, but really nothing more than that. Like so, yeah. I mean, hopefully this fixture run would help. With some of those,
yeah.
They want to start. They only lost their first 2 games the last 2 game weeks, so they're pretty much unbeaten till then. So yeah, hopefully bad things are coming for Bournemouth, and based on the fixture run, it looks certainly that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But like, yeah, I'm hoping that is the case. But nothing else to add from Bournemouth. I think the players you have, you can kind of keep them, and you probably don't really buy.
Like the usual, Senesi and Semenyo. That's pretty much it, really.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
West Ham, obviously, they've got some form, or managed to find some form recently. Paqueta has been quietly delivering the last 2 games at least. Those who own Bowen unfortunately missed out on a goal opportunity because Kyle Walker-Peters managed to beat him to it. But it's probably time to sell, because it's not an urgent sell, especially for Paqueta. But the fixtures are not great.
Yeah, I never really leaned too much towards Bowen because, firstly, 7.7 striker, not appealing. And also, like, West Ham has just been bad. But another new thing to also consider is Callum Wilson, right? Like, he's back and he's playing, he's starting. You know, it's gonna be a different role that he's gonna be playing. So it's not Bowen who's up front taking away all your everything and anything. It's a bit of a different playmaker. Plus, the fixtures are garbage.
Yeah,
So,
that's the thing. Yeah, that's why I probably wouldn't look at the thing.
Yeah.
All right, next one is Brighton versus Brentford. Brentford have been on some form in terms of at least Thiago has been doing well. Brighton also, to be honest, their form has been pretty decent. They've kept 2 clean sheets now. Although the last game was like, initially I was like, how is this going to be a clean sheet? And then the Palace game, which just ended up being so. But like Brentford, I think Thiago is the only one most likely that people would want, and he's probably one of the best, cheapest forwards in the game.
Yeah, he's so good. I honestly wished I jumped into him a bit earlier. I was thinking about it at some point, but it was probably the fixtures that put me away. And then he actually ended up scoring against Liverpool and Newcastle. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's not a bad shout, to be honest. I think depending on how you play your transfers for the next few game weeks and how Salah and Saka and Bruno and MUNvEVE, which we'll talk about in a second, how they all fit in, you probably want some cheaper forward options. So I think, yeah, he's a very, very good option at that price point.
Yeah.
The best.
Yep. And then Brighton, they still have pretty decent fixtures. I went and got Danny Welbeck actually in the week before where he scored. So I'm still happy to have Danny Welbeck for the moment. But if I really wanted to switch to Thiago later, I could do that as well. But at the moment, I think I'm kind of happy with Welbeck. There are other options from Brighton as well. You have like Minte and Ruter as well as some of the midfield options from Brighton. So there are players you can go and get there. There's also now Tiger is in the chat. He went and bought WOLvCRY. He's 4.9 million. He's been returning pretty well in the last couple game weeks as well. So he's happy with his pick.
Yeah, good job, Tiger.
Yeah, he's getting DEFCON as well because he's playing, I think he's playing right back mostly for Brighton. So because of that, he's getting on the DEFCON numbers as well.
Nice.
So it's a cheap Brighton option if anyone wants that as well. But yeah, nothing else to probably add. They will probably see some goals in this game.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's interesting because I did consider Minte as well. And I think I purely because of how formation's playing, and if I was to choose between, like, I've got Mateta at the moment and Haaland, you know, it's about, do I want to play the third striker and bring in either Welbeck or Thiago in, or do I want to keep the front two and then bring in my midfield in which case Minte is in consideration, right? Because of the price point. So yeah, I think they're both good options, and yeah, it's targeting the fixture on really.
Yep. Fulham versus Sunderland. I'm a bit skeptical on this. Yeah, like I think Sunderland should be a bit more highly up there because I think they've been playing better than Fulham have recently. But because Fulham is at home, the numbers are projecting them to do better.
Yeah. I don't like anyone in these teams.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I can't make much of Fulham's attack.
Yeah.
If there's anything at all to consider. They're in just terrible form. Like,
yeah.
What more can I say?
I wouldn't get anyone from them at the moment. They're in just bad form, and they also like missing strikers because of injuries and whatnot.
Yeah,
so that's not helping as well, to be honest.
Maybe this game is going to be a bit of a bounce back game, but I just don't know. I know that Sunderland's defenders have been good for FPL purposes, but I still think it wouldn't be a cakewalk for Sunderland. You know,
probably not. Yeah,
Fulham to anyway. So
I do have Mukiele, and I've slightly considered giving him a start, to be honest, in this game because of how poor Fulham had been.
Yeah.
But again, it all depends. Again, this comes back to like the Gabriel discussion. If Gabriel is indeed out, let's say if it's a short time, then I can just play Mukiele this week, not have to like sell Gabriel and then buy him back again after as well. So all depends.
Yeah, it's not a bad shot, to be honest. Like you said, Fulham's attack's been pretty horrendous.
Yeah, and Sunderland are playing like a top 4 team at the moment.
Exactly. So yeah, I think you just go all guns blazing with the defense.
Yeah. Now, is this going to be the trap of the week or not? Liverpool versus Forest. Sean Dyche managed to get his first win. Liverpool, on the other hand, are still in a tough set of form. And it's not great because you could say their Achilles heel has been playing against teams that will go long, and this is the prime example of a team that will probably try and do that in Sean Dyche football. What do you think so far? Has it
I
been
think
beautiful viewing, or
right?
has it been beautiful viewing?
No,
Or
it's just been probably the shock of the week, right? Like, I think it all started with the United game. To be honest, that's what started the whole change.
let's go long.
When United couldn't win against Forest, that started the journey and just rebounded the whole thing for Forest. So I don't know. I think this is still a Liverpool game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're just coming back from the rebound, but for me, what I see is just like a one-off. Hopefully, it's in the right direction because there are some Forest players, we would like to really bring in, especially in defense. There's some good price points players and midfield as well, where we can fill in the gaps with some of those cheaper budget range
like
options.
Gibbs White and all.
Yeah, BOUvWHU and so I think for FPL purposes, I'd like them to do well, but I think Liverpool should get this. I just think that Liverpool need to.
Now, obviously, we spoke about Van Dijk from an FPL point of view. There are midfielders in there from Liverpool's team that obviously people will want to go and get. Szoboszlai has been the main talking point, mainly due to Salah just not offering the same value for his price point. Might still be a decent option, but it's just not value-wise, it's not the best. The only thing with Szoboszlai is he's one yellow card away from a suspension as well. Now, if he does get this yellow card in this week and you're playing your free hit in 13, you don't have to worry about that because you just don't have him in your free hit. If you're not playing your free hit in 13, then you're kind of in a bit more of a tricky situation. But if he doesn't get his yellow card this week as well, right? And he gets it in 13 when you played your free hit, then he's missing in 14 as well. So it's a very tricky situation to be in because he's one game away from the suspension. But do you still go and get him because the fixtures are good?
It's an interesting one. And for me, how I view Szoboszlai is kind of like the Declan Rice Arsenal. Like if you think about where they play, how they're priced, and also what value they provide, it's very similar. The set pieces, and I think it's kind of like depending on your team situation. Like if you want to really target these Liverpool games and you can't get to Salah or any other Liverpool attackers, and if you're confident that Liverpool are going to do well the next 3 to 4 game weeks, then I think he's a good option, right? Because we just talked about it and you can't get to the $14 million Salah at 6.6 is a great steal. So I guess it really depends on how much you believe in the Liverpool. Do you trust the process? I think, I'm kind of favoring him as well because I feel like if I am going to stick with Saka and the likes of Fernandes for the next few game weeks and I really want to target a Liverpool attacker, knowing that the front line isn't doing much at that price point, could be a differential. I definitely think could be a differential, but he can easily come back in 4 game weeks and he's just got 2 or 3 points each, right? Like that's something you've got to live and breathe with. So it's I'd say a calculated risk, but there's probably some upside based on fixtures.
Yeah, fair enough. I probably agree. Ekitike, is he worth it or too risky as well?
Probably same thing, but like I'd rather spend the 6.6 than spend the 8.6 on a forward line. Yep. And then, we just talked about 3 other better options in the striking spot with Thiago, Welbeck, Haaland's a non-negotiable.
Mateta.
So why would you?
Yeah, fair enough.
I think the value you're spending at Szoboszlai is probably way more worth it than the money you're going to spend on Ekitike.
Yep, I agree. That's probably it for that game. Wolves versus Palace. Obviously, Palace doing well, expected to keep a clean sheet. Hopefully, Mark Gray, he's back. Because to be honest, I need him to play this week.
Yeah, I got the yellow flag as well. That's unfortunate. I think they're looking good. How bad is his injuries?
I think it was just he got a knock against in the European fixture. So I don't think it's too bad because he did go for international duty, but not to play, but more to just be involved in the camp. So I'm hoping it's not a serious injury. And we'll see. We might get some news from Glasner ahead of this Wolves fixture. And if we do, that'll be good because I think he'll be a good option to have for this week. Obviously, Mateta is still great. Ismail Sarr has been a kind of a troll, scoring in Europe and not scoring here, but we'll see.
Again, like, that same price point as WOLvCRY. If I asked you, would you take him or WOLvCRY? You're probably into it, Sarr, aren't you?
Based on the fixtures, probably, but I should add that Ismail Sarr will be going for AFCON very soon as well.
Yeah.
Whereas Sabosla won't be doing that. So it
No,
depends
I'm
on.
talking first 4 games because we got heaps of transfers and wildcards that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just talking next 3 or 4 game weeks because I know that the team that you have now is going to be completely different to the team that you have in 16.
Yeah, true. I probably still might go Sarr. Because Wolves, United is also for the counter-attack inside for Palace. It's not bad, to be honest. And then Burnley and Fulham. I still probably go Sarr over Soboslai, especially given that Soboslai has that one extra yellow away from a suspension as well.
Exactly. And that's where I think for me as well, Sarr is probably the most favorable option in that midfield spot for exactly all those factors, right? And it's also where he scores, where he plays, and he's more of an attacking threat compared to Soboslai, even though the last 5 game weeks he hasn't really done much, the last 4 game weeks in the Prem. But we know what he's capable of from last year, and just hoping it's just a matter of time and fixtures. Maybe the United game might be the game where he'll turn things around.
Please no, but yes, we'll see. But this Wolves fixture is going to be a good one. Although the Wolves have now managed to get a new manager, so we'll see how he does. But yeah, I still think Palace should be good for this one.
And one more player we talked about before is Munoz. So I think he's high up in my radar as well. So especially if Guehi or Gabriel is out, I think he's probably going to be one of the most transferred players in.
Yes, because people will have the cash. Yeah,
big shot and also where he plays.
Yep, I agree. Now, Newcastle versus Man City. From a Newcastle point of view, they'll be very happy that this is at home rather than away, because nowadays they can't even get a win away, to be honest.
That's the only thing they'll be happy about.
That's probably the only thing they'll be happy about at the moment. Although WOLvCRY is still like scoring goals. He scored 2 goals for Germany as well. Although Haaland as well scored 2 goals against Italy to take them to the World Cup as well. So both strikers are somewhat on form. Haaland just been on way more better form than WOLvCRY.
Yep.
But yeah, first I'll ask you the first question. You've got Reinders in your team. What's the plan for Reinders?
It's an interesting one. Ideally coming to this game week, and if you look back to the fixture run now, you see how good City's fixtures are after this Newcastle game, right? Like the Leeds, Fulham, Sunderland. I would have liked to have triple City, but I'm just not confident because I have him, and I don't see any other bright sparks apart from Turkey. I think he just scored assists a couple last week.
Yeah, so Turkey scored the week before he was the talk, and then Doku went and scored, and now Doku is the talk. So
that instability in City's midfield gives me a lot of cause for concern. But because he's only 5.5, I'm not so fussed. Like if this was like a Foden in my team and he's priced at $8 million, I'll be furious right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll be talking about Foden out and everything, but because it's 5.5, I'm just letting him ride, and I could bench him if I don't want to, which I'll probably do this week. And then because I want to actually target some of these easy fixtures with Leeds and Sunderland, I'll probably have no choice but to start him. And if you ask me, would I then go and transfer Reinders to a different midfielder right now for a transfer? Probably not. I just don't see any value in it. I don't know who to trust in the Man City midfield. That's my dilemma.
That's probably why I mentioned Nico O'Reilly as like a defensive option if anyone wanted some City defense, to be honest. However, this game might not be the one for that potentially, because Newcastle at home are still a better team than they are away, which leads us to potentially the captaincy discussion as well. Do we still keep faith in Haaland for captaincy this week, given that Newcastle will be a slightly more trickier fixture? Although many did keep faith against Liverpool as well, which was supposed to be a tricky fixture. And to be honest, if he scored the pen, you would have been looking at a monster haul potentially. Or do we go for a differential captain this week? One being obviously Saka against Spurs, but then North London derby could be tough. Joe Pedro against Burnley is another option.
Mateta against Wolves.
Mateta against Wolves, yes. That's probably actually a very solid choice.
Yeah, we was leaning towards that at some point.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a good game week. So I guess in short, yeah, it's probably a good game week to divulge away from Haaland. However, I still think he'll be the most captain. I just he'll and we looked at Liverpool, Newcastle stats, right? I was looking at it like just before as well. Like all major strikers against Newcastle have scored. Like if you look at Brentford last week, it's 2 goals. Game week before was Mateta scoring, and then the game week before was BOUvWHU. Okay, well assisted. And I think even Brighton, like WOLvCRY has scored 2 goals against Newcastle and stuff. So I think it just feels like that prime striker spot always does well against Newcastle. And I think that's where it's like, well, we have probably the most fun in the league against Newcastle defense. So on paper, it probably looks harder than it is, but I just have faith in Haaland, and I think I'm most likely leaning towards Haaland, even though it could backfire. I think the difference, like, I guess, do you think the captaincy difference is going to be as big this week compared to last week, where people were captaining Saka? And was that
to be honest, I think last week was a slightly bigger one, because I think people look at Liverpool as a much more harder fixture on paper, and Saka had what was it? Pretty easy fixture, if I'm not mistaken. He had Sunderland, so people would have looked at it as a much more easier fixture. And to be honest, we probably should have gone that way, even though I went and captain Haaland. It's just that the form Haaland was on, it's just hard to go against. And like I said, if he scored that penalty,
missed the penalty.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's a different story, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. But like if he did, you'll be looking at a monster score, and you'll be justified on your decision on captaining him.
Exactly. So I think, taking that into consideration, we still captain Haaland.
Yeah.
And he still almost delivered. And I think this is not going to be that much of a difference. I think you probably will have a bit more differentials, but I still think the majority will be Haaland as the captain.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just too hard to ignore the guy. He's just too good.
Yeah, if he was on some, like, if he was like on like a decent form and just not on a incredible like hot streak, this is the Haaland that joined the Premier League and just smashed it all up. Former captain Haaland, basically. If he wasn't on that form, we would have thought about it. But he's just on incredible form, even scoring in an international break against like a decent Italy side, and also I'm like, yeah,
14 goals in the Prem in 11 game weeks. Like, it's hard to ignore this guy.
Yeah, that's true. So I can't see why, especially given that Newcastle have been pretty poor recently. I can't see why I wouldn't do it, even if it's Newcastle at home. Yep. All right, Leeds versus Aston Villa. Have Aston Villa turned the table because their form has picked up? Initially, we were thinking of them as a club in crisis. Now they've racked up the wins and are in the top parts of the table.
Yeah, they've been doing well, right? They've only lost to Liverpool in the last 6 game weeks. Beat City, beat Bournemouth.
Yeah, they've got 4 wins in the last 5.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think they're on a hot streak. Probably fantasy-wise, I guess people has been getting trolled with who initially hopes for Watkins. Stayed away. He's probably the biggest disappointment fantasy-wise. Like, only 1 goal in the last 11 games, and I think that's the issue. Like, they've been playing well as a team. Again, I feel like they're kind of city vibes. Like, it's hard to know where the goals are going to come from. Like, it's
because this season, like, even Bundia has just picked up form, but when you look at his like minutes this season, it hasn't been that great. So it's hard to tell exactly. Obviously, the clean sheet percentage is a bit high, and one player we've been mentioning a lot is Matty Cash.
Yep.
From an attacking point of view as well. To be honest, but again, it's hard to tell who else you want to go and get for.
Yeah, and I think it's probably fixture based, and it'll probably be a short-term fixture base. So they've got Leeds, Wolves, Brighton in the next 3, and then they've got Arsenal at home. So really, like, you're really expecting something from these Liverpool, Aston Villa defense in the next 3 games. With their Europa League fixture in between. I think they'll do well. It's the clean sheet potential is what we're trying to look at the moment. Possible, especially against Leeds and Wolves. But Brighton and Arsenal, it's going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah.
And then also we don't know what team they're going to come with the Wolves game, because between the Europa games.
Yeah.
a bit of a risk factor there, but I still think a lot of people are going with Martinez. You know, good goalkeeper, he'll play. Long term, probably not. Like you can see after even the game week 17, you know, they got United, Chelsea, Arsenal,
Yeah,
Forest.
then it's hard after that. Yeah. Again, it's probably like you don't know really who to pick because the players haven't been necessarily on proper form and all.
Yeah.
And then talking about a team that hasn't been on form, Leeds, obviously, they're also like Newcastle. When they're away from home, they're not great. When they're at home, they're actually a better team.
Yeah.
So Joe Rodon is someone I have.
Relatively better team. I still think Newcastle.
Oh yeah.
Which levels they're at? Like,
yeah, they're different levels, definitely.
Definitely.
So I obviously have Joe Rodon in my team as well. And again, if Gabriel was to be injured, I mean, between Joe Rodon and BOUvWHU this week, might be a close call, potentially.
Definitely for this week because they're playing Villa at home, but definitely for the next few weeks, you're not going to start. You're not going to think about starting. Right? They got probably the worst fixture run after game week 13. Really.
Yeah. So you probably after that they're not even seeing the start 11 anywhere. Yep.
No, probably not for the entire until like second half of the season. Really, and only if they're showing some form and. Yeah, right now I think it's high candidates to stay away. So yeah, Rodon, if I have some transfers, I'll be getting rid of him. If you have no one else for this week, I think he's startable against Villa. But yeah, after that, it'll be tough to start them for the short term.
Yeah. Okay, Arsenal Spurs we already spoke about, and then the final game, United versus Everton. You could call this. This is like there are multiple derbies: the Wayne Rooney derby, the David Moyes derby. I don't know what you want to call this, but how do you see the game going?
Look, I'm finally after probably like 4 or 5 years, apart from Bruno, I'm excited about United FPL players.
Yeah, fair enough. Actually, own a United FPL player.
Yeah, me too. I actually transferred a player willingly, not because I had, I voluntarily transferred a United player. But let's hope this is not the calm before the storm. But no, generally, like they're playing well. Like at least on the attacking front, like defense is still yet to be questioned.
True. I mean, there is a very high 37% clean sheet. I thought that was pretty high. I still think our defense is a bit more suspect, and I wouldn't be buying any defenders at the moment. Yeah.
Like, and I saw the like how they consider those goals. Like they're terrible. Like I was like in shock. I was watching the game. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, bad defending.
It's actually pretty bad defending. So I have no trust in the defense, and I probably won't for the rest of the season. So I want to put that down right now. Even if, like, you're not going to see multiple clean sheets in a row. If they get a clean sheet, it'll be a lucky one. I think with this new look United attack, the fullbacks aren't playing much of a part. I don't know. I feel like it's like you usually have your Shaw and Dallo.
Yeah, I think it's probably because okay, Ahmad is one as an attacking option is good, but you prefer MUNvEVE a bit more. The only thing is on the left side, there's just too much rotation, like between Dallo, between BOUvWHU. You can't really trust who's going to be playing there, and neither one of them have got into any good form recently to be justified to be brought into the team as well. So like attacking point of view, I think it's just like Bruno and MUNvEVE are the two main options right now. I still prefer MUNvEVE over Bruno at the moment, just because he's more like involved in the attack. But that's not going to be for too long, right? When he goes to AFCON, then Bruno just becomes the better option. Although then it'll be very questionable on how good United's attack will be, because the entire right side goes for AFCON. You lose Mazraoui, Ahmad, Mazraoui, MUNvEVE. That's it. I think that's the right flank.
Pretty much the main three.
Yeah. If he had Onana, he would have also been going. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Who cares if he goes or not?
Yeah. So, but pretty much like that right flank is just gone.
Yeah.
Which is
that'll be an interesting time and probably an interesting challenge. How long are they out for again for AFCON?
Depends on how far they go into the tournament. Could be the month of December or.
Would that be a maximum of like 3 or 4 game weeks?
Let me see. So AFCON goes from the 22nd of December.
Yep.
Till the final is on the 19th of Jan.
19th of January.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The group
United.
stages, however, finish on the 1st of Jan.
Oh my god! So when did you say start again? 19th of.
It starts on the 22nd of December.
Yep. So they'll miss about 5, if not 6 game weeks.
Yes.
6 games.
Yes. So there's a potential that like they could be available for game week 16.
Yeah.
But then like game week 17 till what is it?
Pretty much 22 or 23.
Yeah, till like 22, 23. If they go all the way, they'll be out for that. If they only are out until like the group stage, if they get knocked out in the group stage, they'll be back again for game week 20.
Yeah, but also I think one thing to consider is like injury chances.
Yeah.
Come back, rest up. So it's not going to be exactly those 5 game weeks. Ideally, yes, but yeah, depending on how deep the team goes, all those factors to consider. So yeah, I guess more of a reason why Bruno is going to be your number one guy. And I think it'll be interesting, like you said, how will the team look like once these guys go for AFCON? It's hard to tell now, right? Like it'll just be.
It's hard to tell because the only thing I can think is like, now there are a few options because Bruno Fernandes could be moved further forward, which makes him an even better option. Where then you just play Mainu alongside Casemiro if you don't want Mainu to leave on loan, which more looks like it's going to happen. The other option is you play Mason Mount in right number 10 spot instead of MUNvEVE. And he's not been too bad as well this season, to be honest. So there are a few question marks there. But there's also now question marks on Sesko's potential injury, which we don't know about. And if he's out for some time, then that'll move potentially Cunha up to the striker spot, which would then move Mason Mount into one of the 10s, and then Bruno will have to move to the other 10.
No, I think you're right. I think Mount will start because I think Amarin likes Mount.
Yeah.
Just how I think his work rate's pretty good in training and everything. So yeah, he'll be an easy slot in. And then Sesko, if he's out for a long time, then it's going to be Cunha as well as a good option, right? I think that's where it's a wait and see. Could Cunha be potentially another enticing option? Someone needs to step up, right? And I think we'll probably give Cunha an opportunity to step up because at the moment he's got to share the load with MUNvEVE up front. But we know that from the past in Wolves how he's usually the main guy when he likes having that central focus role. Good things usually happen. So yeah, might be a good opportunity for Cunha to really showcase his solo striker potential.
I guess we'll have to wait. The thing is, we'll have to wait and see. Because for now, at least, I still think MUNvEVE and Bruno are the top 2.
Yeah.
But the longer you delay the MUNvEVE one, the less better of an option it becomes because then you'll have to get rid of him for AFCON anyways. That's the only thing to mention.
Yeah. I was in a similar boat last week when I got rid of. Last week, the week before, I got rid of Salah and I brought in Bruno. I was thinking a lot about should I bring in Bruno in or MUNvEVE in, and I think it just for me it came down to just the set pieces, DEFCON.
That's how he's been getting these points, Bruno, recently.
Exactly. I think that's where it came. Like, okay, if United have a bad game, which they're very likely to have certain game weeks, which you just don't know when. Bruno probably usually ends up being the. He seems to salvage something. And I think that's where I went with the safety net rather than the high risk, high reward. You'd say that MUNvEVE is probably not a high risk, high reward. He's probably high reward at the moment.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I think both are still pretty good options to own. Yep.
Agree.
All right. So that is basically it. We spoke about
Everton.
Huh?
Everton?
Oh yeah, Everton. I have 11 and die. I think you guys have 11 and die. I sold Tarkowski. Wish I didn't do it now because obviously he went and kept it clean and marked where he didn't appear. But I'm happy I sold Tarkowski. Everton, to be honest, their fixtures are going to get a bit more harder now. But like for those who have Michael Keane, I don't mind Michael Keane because he racks up DEFCON like so fast. It's crazy how fast he at halftime itself he's like almost there. But DEFCON in most of his games. So he's okay. Tarkowski, I think I would probably still potentially sell. But like look at Everton's fixtures. They got United, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Forest, Chelsea, Arsenal. Not the best of run.
What about NGI? What about him?
He is also on his way to AFCON. That's another thing. So you don't have much time with him as well. Yeah. However, he's been good. I think. He's played well for Everton. The only problem I look at Enda is like every week I look at him and I go, if only you had a better striker, you'd be getting way more returns than you're getting now.
Yeah, I think where you're at is probably spot on, because I feel like the good fixtures on paper for Everton is probably during the AFCON time.
Yeah.
Game week 18 onwards, they got Burnley,
Forest, Brentford.
Wolves,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's yeah, I think if you have, and yeah, I'm keeping him till AFCON, and then I'm not in a rush to sell him.
Yep. Because it's cheap as well, not too bad.
It's cheap. Gets a few def cons. Actually, scores a goal.
Yeah.
On pens, that price point, unless you're desperate to bring in the likes of Saar or someone else in that.
See, that's where because I like my Endai replacement would be either a Declan Rice for me because I already have Saar, or even a Szoboszlai if I wanted to go and get that Liverpool attacker. But then that requires me potentially dropping that third striker spot, which at this moment is Danny Welbeck. So it's basically like Welbeck versus potentially a Declan Rice or Szoboszlai. So I have to see. It just depends on, like, it'll most likely be a Szoboszlai. It just depends on how Liverpool perform. If they do well against Forest, then I might actually think of Szoboszlai in 13 potentially. But for the moment, yeah, I have to wait and see.
Yep, agree.
All right, that's basically it. 3 teams. All right, Rush, I'm gonna read your team. So you have Sanchez in goal, Rodon, Esteve, Gabriel, Senesi, Saka, Bruno, Endai, Semenyo, Haaland, and Mateta. On the bench, you had Dubravka, Reinders, Guehi, and Mark Yu. I'm assuming Guehi got subbed off for Rodon or Esteve, one of them.
Yeah, one of those two.
Yeah. So what's the plan?
Look, it's not the prettiest looking team at the moment, especially with the players and how they performed. But I'm just glad it's above average points. So that's at least one positive. Yeah, a couple of unfortunates with Semenyo and Haaland missing penalties, but that doesn't affect my rank too much. Would have liked to see a bit more from Mateta and probably even Bruno being my minor differentials, probably not super differentials, but just where there is some additional points. But yeah, happy with the Sanchez clean sheet, especially the week where Arsenal conceded. And then not just my defense, everyone else apart from Gabriel, and probably now Gabriel whole need of a new thinking essentially. So potentially one of the chips is up for grabs at some point.
Yeah, fair enough. And like the only Nick in the chat is like, he has 4 of his players injured. He's been gone for like 2 weeks and suddenly like most of the team is injured. So yeah, obviously we'll have to wait and see for press conference news to see exactly what's the status. But yeah, and then mine, I've got Petrovic, Rodon, Senesi, Gabriel, Saar, Endai, Saka, Semenyo, MUNvEVE, Mateta, and Haaland. On the bench, I had Dubravka, Welbeck, Guehi, and Mukiele. So I also was like, obviously Rodon came on for Guehi. Now if Guehi is fit, ideally I'll start him this week. And I'll probably be starting Welbeck ahead of Philemon Endai potentially.
Yep.
That's the current plan as things like.
You used all your chips apart from free hit?
I have used my bench boost and I've used my wildcard.
Okay, so you have triple captain and
so I have triple captain and free hit. So 13 will probably be triple and 15 maybe free hit, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's basically. So yeah, transfers. Honestly, I think I might actually potentially be rolling this week. Just don't know who exactly. Like it depends on Guehi's injury and Gabriel's injury. Worst case scenario, I just start Mukiele for one of them, and if like both of them are missing, then there will potentially be a transfer made.
Yeah, but you could potentially get away with Rodon.
Yeah, true. That also could potentially happen, and maybe I just go into 13 with a bit more information. Yeah, that might also be to be honest, that probably might be a smarter play, because I wish the last 3 weeks I've got red arrows, and every week I went, maybe I should have just done nothing.
Transfers in.
Yeah.
I mean, Rodon's perfectly startable. And this, like I said, this is probably the last game week, and next game week you can reassess, because you can't start him next week onwards.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's basically it. Cool. Anything else to add before we end?
No, not really. I think just to keep track of this man's injury, Mr. Gabriel, and see what what he gets up to, and then Guehi as well. I think those are the couple of really the only considerations for this game week. I think there's not much more exciting, and then I guess just make sure everyone plans their chips properly, because that's going to be critical. And then keep track of when AFCON happens and how that's gonna impact your team really.
Yeah, that's exactly true. So I probably 2 video ideas I wanted to do. One was like who's going for AFCON, and another one was when to play chips. But we mentioned is when to play chips, but I make a short video for anyone to watch it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for watching. We're obviously closing in on 2,500 subs. We're at 2,240, so let's try and get to 2,250 first. And then hopefully 2,225 somewhere in the middle of next year, ideally, but we'll see. But yeah, make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe as well, and thank you, Rush, for joining me as well.
Good luck, guys.